From the world headquarters of Fox News, it's The Kelly File with Megyn Kelly.
Well, Fiorina, Rubio, and Bush were not the only ones with moments that resonated with voters tonight. Chris Christie and Donald Trump scored points too. Pollster Frank Luntz and our focus group are back. Frank?
Watch this. How many of you thought Chris Christie did a good job tonight? Raise your hands. Now, you liked his opening segment when he turned the cameras around. But I asked you off camera, what was his most powerful moment? Megyn, it's when he took on Donald Trump and Carly Fiorina. That's when his dial scored the highest. Let's take a look.
I got to tell you the truth. They could care less about your careers. They care about theirs. Let's start talking about that on this stage. The fact is that we don't want to hear about your careers. Back and forth and volleying back and forth about who did well and who did poorly. You're both successful people. Congratulations. You know who's not successful? The middle class in this country who's getting plowed over by Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. Let's start talking about those issues tonight and stop this childish back and forth between the two of you.
Ms. Fiorina, I want to give you...
One of the highest moments in the debate. The dials really scored well. Tell me why.
Well, because the middle class in this country has been ignored for how many elections? We're disappearing. If something isn't done to fix it, to make us healthy, this whole country could dissolve.
You just said we. Are you middle class?
Yes.
How many of you in this room are middle class? Raise your hands. So just about everybody. So what was so powerful about it?
I think, he seemed very genuine. And he really brought it back to, there was bickering going back and forth between Fiorina and Trump, and he brought it back to what the debate really should be about, which is the middle class and helping the American people. And he really came across as someone that the American people could trust.
So I got to ask you, does Chris Christie understand you? Does he get you?
I believe he does, because he comes from middle class himself. He was in the 9/11 situation where we all were, and he said as he looked up in the sky every day, he's just a genuine person.
He gets you.
And that was the second time this evening that he turned the pulpit back over to the American people.
Does that matter to you?
Very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Who had a positive reaction to that overall? Raise your hands. Are candidates talking to you? Are they reaching you? Are they communicating to you?
Not all of them.
Not all of them. No. So there's another segment, and this was Donald Trump's high point, is when he talked about North Korea and focused on national security. He had two great moments. One was on North Korea. The other was on immigration. Let's take a look at Donald Trump at his best.
Nobody ever mentions North Korea, where you have this maniac sitting there, and he actually has nuclear weapons, and somebody better start thinking about North Korea and perhaps a couple of other places, but certainly North Korea. And Ted and I have spoken. A lot of us have spoken. We're talking about Iran. They're bad actors. Bad things are going to happen. But in the meantime, you have somebody right now in North Korea who's got nuclear weapons and who is saying almost every other week, I'm ready to use them, and we don't even mention it.
That's exactly the language that our Republican primary voters are looking for. And there are two other candidates I want to throw out. I need a word or phrase, and I'm going in the back row this time. I want a word or phrase for Ted Cruz in tonight's debate. Go.
Ready. Inspiring.
Straight shooter.
Solid.
He's an outsider, but he's proven.
Bold.
Honest.
Forceful.
Strong.
Who had a positive reaction to him overall? Raise your hands. Okay, what was so good?
He's genuine. Totally genuine, totally sincere about everything.
What was so good?
Well, his effort's been genuine. He's tenacious. He's done the best he can.
He understands the Constitution and how the government is supposed to work.
Now, when we did this several weeks ago with the Fox News debate, Ted Cruz did particularly well. There are less people here raising their hands. Was there an issue with him? Was there something?
No, it's the other people did so much better tonight that I think that we are focusing on that. But he shut down the government. He's for shutting the government. That's a good thing.
Jeffrey, one more.
His presentation is almost too prepared.
So you want something more spontaneous?
Right.
Okay, Scott Walker, I want a word or phrase. Very quickly, we're going to go in this direction. Scott Walker tonight.
Surprising.
Knowledgeable.
Record.
Down to earth.
Better than the Fox debate.
Polished.
Intimidated.
More bold.
Proven.
Yeah, confident. Again.
Yeah. Intelligent.
Okay, so it's pretty positive about Walker. Did he redeem himself tonight? You know his numbers have come down. How did he do this evening to you? You're your first-time voter.
Yeah, I mean, I thought last time he really came out kind of bumbling and didn't really do very well. Tonight, he seemed much better on his feet. He had the facts behind what he was saying, and I thought he really maybe not redeemed himself all the way, but he's certainly on track.
Walker.
He made some points about his own political in his state about.
One more.
I was impressed with his fiscal background in Wisconsin.
I got one more for you, Ben Carson. Who came in here voting for Ben Carson? Raise your hands. Be candid. Who's walking out of here voting for Ben Carson? So it wasn't such a great night. Tell me, what's up?
He's not a debater. He's never going to win a debate. That is not his style. I think he would be a very good leader. He's not a debater.
He doesn't have the passion. I don't feel any passion from him.
Do you guys agree with that?
Yeah, exactly.
No, I think he has the passion. He just doesn't debate.
I think he's a fine gentleman and he's super decent, but I don't know that he has the oomph it's going to take to lead this country.
How do you spell oomph?
I have no idea.
He's very intellectual, but I don't think that precludes him from being passionate.
But he's been going up in the polls. But I sense that it wasn't that great an evening for him.
As Trump would say, those killers in Washington will chew him up.
He's too timid. That's.
Go ahead. In the end, go ahead.
I'd see him more with a diplomatic post. I think he'd be great with that.
One more for you. I've been asked Rand Paul, who had a positive reaction to Rand Paul tonight. Oh, come on. Really?
Some, but not all.
A little bit of his tax policy. It's 14%. I like that, but everything else was kind of, he really didn't make it.
So what's the issue? Why no one seems to like Rand Paul here?
He just didn't do anything for me.
Nothing.
Nothing.
A little bit too isolationist for me, maybe.
Who's watching the next debate? Who's watching all of the next debate? Who's excited about your candidates? Last one. Who's absolutely made up your minds who you're going to vote for? After tonight, who has absolutely made up your minds? 1, 2. 2 people. Megan, they watched over 3 hours of the debate. They all saw the Fox News debate. And only 2 out of 29 have made up their minds. This election season has only just begun. And there are going to be a lot of ups and downs. So it's a good time to be doing what you and I do.
Absolutely right. Frank, thank you so much. And thanks to your group. We appreciate it. As always, great job.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thanks.
How about that? And that's what they say. 2/3 of the Republican electorate, they have not yet made up their minds either. Coming up next, Ann Coulter and her key moments on the hot topic of immigration, and Joe Trippi on how the Democrats are reacting to tonight's debate.